Hi guys, Jimmy Fluke here for Apex Racing Academy. This is our Week 2 Falcon Tower Sports Car Challenge track guide for Oschersleben in the Mercedes-AMG GT4. As well as the track guides, we're giving away the Mercedes-AMG GT4 data pack for free this season. So that includes all of your setups, so that's qualifying and race setups. It includes your reference lap files, so that's your B lap and O lap files to compare against my lap that I've put down. It also gives access to the replay files, and it also gives access to our group coaching sessions that we host on a Tuesday evening. All you have to do is go to apexracingac.com to sign up, and we also have a link in the description below for that as well. Onto the track itself, Oschersleben is a great track actually for the Mercedes this week. A lot of long, constant radius corners, and not too many long straights either. Really suit the Mercedes that has pretty good downforce, not tremendous traction and not tremendous straight line speed. So it's a track that really does suit it, and it should go well this week. So without further ado, let's get stuck into it. Another reminder, guys, that you can get this season's Mercedes-AMG GT4 data pack for free at apexracingac.com or by following the link in the description below. Into the lap here at Oschersleben, bring the car over to the right hand side and look for a key reference for turn 1, which is the access road here on the right hand side. That's going to be pretty important for us, having a clear visible reference that we can use to get onto the brakes. Not super hard on the brakes initially. We'll grab 4th gear and then feed the car in. The car might dance around a little bit, just the nature of the car on the brakes on corner entry. And we'll try and avoid the anti-cut curbs here on the left-hand side. You can hit them and get away with it, but I generally advise staying away from them. So we'll bleed off the brake ever so slightly as we come through turn 1 and then into turn 2, down into 3rd, and then feeding the car tight again to the inside anti-cut curbs. And we'll throw the car out somewhat wide here actually, so that we can square the car off later in the corner and try and generate traction. In between the two corners though, we are applying more brake pressure to really slow the car down, and we're down then into 2nd gear. So inside curb and then out towards almost the pit lane exit here before picking up the throttle before the cone, which denotes the pit lane exit, or the end of the pit lane exit, I should say. And then we can slowly bring the car back in towards the inside. A couple of references that we have here. We've got the anti-cut curb here on the right, so ideally we're about full throttle as we get to that point. If you're on a slightly shallower line, it will be later than that. And then finally apexing as that anti-cut curb ends on the right hand side. From here then we'll grab 3rd gear and track out, and the car really should do the work then from here, using absolutely all of the runoff available to us. So over to the right hand side to set up turn 3. So we've got the gutter here on the right hand side. It's not really a curb, I would say it is a gutter. I'm braking pretty much at the start of that. So down into 3rd and then 2nd gear, float the car in, nice early apex, and utilize all of the camber on the inside of the corner here. Tracking out a little bit, let the car sort of wash a little bit so we can tuck it back in once again. And then as we've done there, sort of snapping to about 80% throttle, let the nose tuck in, open up the steering, and then full throttle and commit to your exit from there. The track then falls away sharply, so making sure that we've done pretty much all of the rotation early before we get into sort of the runoff area on exit here. But as long as you pick up the apex again fairly late, the exit once again then takes care of itself. So that's the first sector complete. To the right hand side we'll stay to set up the triple left, so that's turns 4, 5 and 6. My sort of reference here is the third from the end bollard. I'll start to turn into the corner basically at this point, and then braking slightly after the penultimate bollard there, and then trying to feed the car in. Really, really gentle on the brake. The first apex for me isn't super important. The second one, however, is the all-important and critical one, making sure that I can track the car as close as possible to this anti-cut curb and then picking up the throttle from here. So gently does it, and then bringing the car over once again to the left-hand side as the car sort of swings out and then back in again for the braking point for turn 7, which is the apex of turn 6. So as soon as we get onto that apex curb, onto the brakes and braking in as much of a straight line as we can, down into second and trying to keep the car rotating the whole way through here. In this particular lap, it did sort of arc it out a little bit wider than is optimal, but it does make the exit that little bit easier. So you can go about this a couple of different ways. Similar to turn 2, the wider you go, the more likely you're going to get a straighter exit, but you maybe lose a little bit of time in the mid corner by just running that extra distance wide. So bringing the car back towards the inside, holding the white line as long as we can until the green paint here ends on the inside, and then letting the car float out towards the runoff once again on exit, all the way out towards the grass, hopefully without then touching it. So into the fast chicane here, this is really critical to get right, because if you have too much aggression here, we can pick up a slowdown penalty, which will obviously completely ruin your lap time. And also in a racing scenario, it's really important not to pick up the slowdown here, because overtaking is quite difficult here. So through the first right-hander, keeping it pinned in third, and really, really aggressive over the inside curb. The car can handle it, so feel free to be aggressive here. And this allows us to have a little bit more room to work with through the second apex, which is our critical one, and that's turn 9. So making sure that we get as tight as we can to that inside bollard there without touching it. If we touch it, then that's what will trigger the slowdown penalty. From this point, I've bled completely out of the throttle to allow the car to handle the compression that we have here as easy as possible. Slowly introduce the brake, and then an early turn in for turn 10, getting as close to the anti-cut curb on the inside as we can. Aggressive with the throttle, really trying to rotate the car on that inside curb, and then tracking out using all of the road available to us. So small breather down the back straight here towards the final sector and the final 4 corners. So the braking point for turn 11, quite difficult, quite tricky, where the 100 board's maybe a touch early for what we're looking for. We're going to brake slightly after that. We can use the grass on the left-hand side, and just where there's a different texture. As we come past that different texture, we can get onto the brakes and down a couple of gears. So down to 4th and then 3rd gear. Not too hard on the peak pressure. It's all about keeping control over the front end of the car and getting really precise with our apex point here, as close to the anti-cut curb as we can. Delay your throttle pickup just ever so slightly and keep it pretty gentle as well. We want to keep the car as far over to the right hand side as possible. I just about get back to full throttle before then flicking the car left, and a small touch of brake for turn 12. Again, super important to get as close to the anti-cut curb on the inside as possible, and also really important to be very aggressive with the throttle to try and generate as much rotation as possible. This is a corner where we want the car to turn as much as we can, but it's just the nature of it where the track falls away slightly. We're not usually going to generate that much rotation through normal means. So just being super aggressive and trying to get the car to turn is super important. On exit, we've got a slightly different track limit to the rest of the circuit. We must be touching the red and white curbing on the way through here. It's not half the car into, half the car beyond the runoff area provided to us. Over the left hand side we go to set up the penultimate corner. Braking pretty much at the start of where, again, we have a change in grass texture here on the left hand side. And again, it's just a small little dab. We'll keep the car in 4th gear, and it's another exercise in getting super close to an anti-cut curb without touching it. Once onto that apex and onto that curb, aggressive with the throttle pickup and let the car arc out as wide as we dare. The track limits here is half the car beyond the runoff, and so we'll take full advantage of that, running as wide as we can. And then as soon as we get straightened out, we can look towards the final corner. The track limits on entry here are actually a concern. We can't completely cross over with all 4 wheels into the green on that pit entry there. So we need to sort of dive a little bit for the apex. Braking before the pit lane entry line here starts. And we'll get down into 3rd and then 2nd gear. In this case, I don't take the inside curb at all. I don't particularly like how the car behaves on that inside curb, and that goes actually for all of the cars. So I just wrap around the outside curb, and that promotes better drive off the corner. So gently does it. We'll grab 3rd on the way out, and then use all of the road available to us. I do like to pull the car off of the runoff as soon as possible, because it is quite bumpy out here and it can hurt the drive on the run to the line. But apart from that, it's a pretty short run to the finish line for a lap of Oschersleben in the Mercedes-AMG GT4. Thanks for watching. Make sure to go over to apexracingac.com for your free Mercedes-AMG GT4 data pack for the rest of the season. For more questions and information, join our Discord server, which you have access to with your subscription, and we also host a group coaching session on a Tuesday evening, so make sure to check the details of that in the Mercedes-AMG GT4 car channel in the Discord once you've signed up. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.